All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking something absolutely crucial, the anatomy of resilience, and exactly how you can transform absolute mental defeat into unstoppable power. We're looking at the mechanics of becoming truly unbreakable. We're going to explore how moving forward, despite profound pain, mental defeat, and external adversity, isn't just some basic survival tactic. It's actually the exact blueprint for unprecedented success. So if you've ever felt like the world is just crumbling around your shoulders, stick with me. This structured breakdown is going to completely change the way you view that wreckage forever. So think about this number for a second. 4,000. The human heart beats approximately 4,000 times an hour. Every single pulse, every throb, every palpitation is basically a trophy. It's this biological engraving proving that you are still alive, you're still here. And the foundational premise of everything we're about to discuss is simply this. Since you are still alive, you've got to act like it. You can't just merely exist. You have to harness the life that is literally still beating inside of your chest. When you're completely knocked down, stressed out to the max, or just feeling incredibly fragile, there's one fundamental question you absolutely must ask yourself to spark a mindset shift. Do you think you have hope? Look, if you try 100 times and fail 100 times, it's only truly over if you stop trying. As long as you try again, there's always a chance of getting back up. Frankly, just the fact that you're engaging with this explainer right now should persuade you that, yes, there is still hope.
Section 1. The inevitability of adversity. When that inevitable hard time strikes, we basically face two primary choices in life. On one side, we can just accept conditions exactly as they are and act as a volunteer victim. You know the type, someone who wants to exempt themselves from taking any responsibility and just talks about their problems over and over again. But on the other side, you can take full responsibility to change those conditions. You can decide you aren't going to be a victim, look straight at the mess and say, I am getting out of this. Because here is the honest truth, you just cannot control the chaotic elements around you. You can plan for this perfectly ideal life, and boom, unplanned disasters will still happen. But the absolute essence of personal power is this. You possess complete control over your attitude and your mindset. If you change your attitude, you change your altitude. It really is an inside job for sure.
Section 2. Redefining failure. Okay, there is a massive distinction we need to make right now. Failure, it's an event. Actually, scratch that. It's just a moment in time. It is never a person. Just because you failed at something does not mean that you are a failure. In fact, failure isn't final at all. It's formative. It's the essential combustible fuel required for your future growth. I mean, how do you ever expect to grow if you never fail? You quite literally have to fail in order to succeed.
And that brings us to a really profound realization about our hardest times. Growth is actually fastest and deepest during your darkest days. It's during those times of discontent, separation, unemployment, and tragedy that we learn our absolute greatest lessons. The dark times force us to build higher, dream harder, and push way further than we ever would if we just stayed comfortable. Remember, the darker the night, the brighter the morning is going to be.
Section 3. The Alchemy of Pain, the Adele case study.
To put this into perspective, let's look at Adele. She was working on her album 21, but she was completely stalled for months, just zero creativity. Then she goes through this devastating breakup. And to make it worse, her ex got engaged to someone else in a matter of weeks. It completely broke her. But instead of letting that darkness consume her, she went into the studio. She stopped singing about abstract concepts and sang something terrifyingly true to her own broken heart. She channeled that raw internal wreckage into her music, and out of that agonizing pain came her biggest success, winning 6 Grammys.
What her story proves, and this is a real game changer, is that sometimes you have to be broken to bring the creativity out of you. The crushing weight of a tragic time isn't there to destroy you. It's the exact mechanism needed to redesign you. When your world crumbles, you don't just stare at the rubble. You look at the wreckage and you build a completely new world out of the pieces that are still left.
Section 4. The mechanics of getting up.
So how do we actually do this? Well, getting up is intensely practical, and frankly, it's incredibly uncomfortable. Step 1 is just facing the challenge head-on, instead of staying quiet about it. Step 2 might mean seeking professional help. Going to a doctor, starting counseling, or even getting on medication. Step 3 is doing whatever it takes to keep moving forward. Maybe getting up just means getting a job to prove your mission hasn't been completely destroyed by your depression. It's all about regaining that momentum, step by step.
As you do this, you've got to engage with hard times using a few specific rules. First off, don't take it personally.
It's called life, and it happens to everyone. Second, use the pain to stretch out and grow. Third, fail forward, learn from the fall. And finally, remember the basic physics of falling. If you fall on your back, you can look up, and if you can look up, well, then you can get up.
Section 5. Becoming completely unbreakable. As we shift our focus to the sheer, undeniable power that comes from surviving the storm, I want you to consider this quote: "Don't cry to quit." Think about it. You've already invested way too much. You've already made too many sacrifices, and you've survived too much hell to just give up now. You are already hurting, so demand a reward from your suffering. Make the pain pay you out in the form of success.
This is the ultimate attitude of the unbreakable mind. You have to look failure, bankruptcy, divorce, sickness, whatever that adversity is, dead in the eye and impose your will on it. You fiercely declare, "I will break you before you break me. You will not defeat me." When life knows you're that serious, life will eventually give in to you.
Because when you go through a storm, face your absolute breaking point, and still come out the other side able to reclaim your life, you never return as the same person. You just don't. You come back with a totally different spirit, different energy, different power. You reach this level of profound realization where you can look at the world and confidently say, "I am unbreakable now." I'm going to leave you with this final provocative thought. Adversity creates the perfect moment for audacity. The pressure is on, the hard times are guaranteed, and the darkness is already here. So, what will your response be? Are you going to sit back and let the wreckage define who you are? Are you going to step up, weaponize your pain, and forge your ultimate triumph? The choice is entirely yours.